Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're pretty excited. We're doing our last showdown of our rescue devices, and today we are doing the Petzl Maestro. We are putting it up against the industry standard that's been used for over 10 years now. It's the Rescue MPD from Rock Exotica. So that's kind of the market that the Maestro with Petzl is trying to get into, in a sense where the ID just didn't compare with the pulley system inside here for hauling and lowering, and they've addressed it with their pulley system inside this with a very effortless pulley to overcome a lot of the friction. So we're going to see how much it works compared to the MPD. So let's not waste any time, let's get at it.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show the basic rope maneuvers. So we're going to use the MPD and the Maestro in the sense that they would actually be used. They're going to be on an anchor plate. They're going to be used in a hauling or a lowering situation. So we'll rig the MPD first. So one disadvantage right off the hop that both of these devices have is I have to remove them from my system before I can rig them in. With the clutch, if you remember, we just click the button, we can swing the gate open and we can rig our system, or our device, pardon me. But with this, we actually have to remove it from our system. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So one problem with the MPD is it is notorious for being a pain to thread the rope through. Okay, I've seen it time and time again where people they have trouble doing it. It's not as user-friendly as the Maestro is, as you'll see in a minute. So the way that I've always done it, so there's the diagram on the back, right? So we see our braking hand where our load goes, and then this just swings open for us to rig it. The way that I've always done it to remember is my braking hand has to capture this friction horn. So I always start with my brake side, which is going to be my rope bag, and I come over that friction horn to start. Okay, so as we feed it through, what you have to watch is there's this little shoulder, we'll call it, I guess, that sometimes you can get it inside the rope like that. So you just have to make sure that that goes over, and that is how we thread it. Okay, very simple. I have seen a lot of different people, you know, sometimes when they're here, they'll flip this over and they struggle with it, or they rig it in backwards. Sometimes they turn the device in their hand while they're rigging it and the rope falls out the other side. Lots of different options. It isn't the most user-friendly for that, but I find if I just remember to keep my brake hand over that friction horn to start, that it goes pretty good. All right, so now we're gonna rig in the Maestro. So again, like I mentioned, you have to remove it from the system in order to rig it. So the main difference here is when you open the gate on the Maestro, it's a lot simpler to understand how this works, you know, as far as rigging it. We have the picture of the anchor here, we've got a picture of the brake hand, and really it's just a big circle around this pulley to rig it. So I take my rope, I know this is my anchor side, I feed it through, slide that shut, and it's really that simple. Just to double check, you want to make sure your braking hand is over the friction horn or the V-groove here, just to ensure that it's rigged correctly. And we clip it back into the system. So it's, in my opinion, I have a lot of experience on the MPD, but this is a very simple device. Even for a new user, maybe that's new to rope rescue, they're going to get this a lot quicker, I feel, than they will get the MPD. All right, so now we're going to build a very basic 3-to-1 or a Z-rig system. So one of the devices that we use is the rescue sender. So there's so many options for rope grabs when we build a mechanical advantage system. We had a few questions asking us what it is that we use, what we prefer. Really, it comes down to personal preference. You know, I prefer using this because I have one. A lot of rope access techs will use the basic, okay, which is a tooth cam device. You know, we have ascension handles on us all the time. We can use those to create our rope grab as well. Fire service, we don't see either of these. We're gonna be using Pressics. Very simply, for the reason that this is worth a lot more than a Pressic is worth. Okay, we can get a Pressic for $10, $15 typically, so it's a lot more economical, if you will, for the fire service budget. One thing I do like about this over a Pressic, it's a little bit quicker, and in certain situations, especially in rope access, I know this is gonna grab. A Pressic typically has to be set. Sometimes if they're old, depending on the condition of the rope, things like that, they'll slip. So that's why I carry one of these. So first thing I'm gonna do here, okay, so it's very efficient when we put it on the rope. I've already got my pulley on here. And again, pulley, again, personal preference, this is what I carry with me, so this is what I'm using for my system today. Later on when we test the friction and we see with the load cell on it what we're actually gonna get when we pull our load up, we're gonna use the same rope grab with the same pulley, the same system, just so that we get kind of a coefficient across the board. But for this, I think when we do the Maestro, I'll show you with the basic just to give you a different perspective on them, okay? Just like that. All right, so one feature that the MPD has is it has this parking brake, okay? So what that does is it doesn't allow the cam at all, or the pulley inside at all to move. Where this gets dangerous is if we build our haul system and we don't take that parking brake off and we begin to haul, the haul system will collapse, but no rope can actually move through the device. So what we end up getting is on our line going to the load, we get slack in there. If for some reason we let go of the haul system very quickly, we're gonna introduce a lot of dynamic force into our system, okay? So something to be very mindful of. The Maestro, you'll see handle closed, we can pull rope through it, so that's definitely a plus over this feature here, I think. So my parking brake's off. Haul up on our dummy. All right, so we've removed our haul system from the MPD. We're gonna lower it. Just for demonstration purposes, we've got no tension on the Maestro line because it's just me operating this device. So I'm gonna make sure my parking brake is off, and all of our friction is gonna come from this V-groove on the back here. One thing to remember when you're using this device, this handle is actually an on or off switch. So any speed control is all gonna come from your braking hand. So whenever we're using the handle, we pull all the way up, and we open all the way open. Okay. So it's very easy to control. One nice feature is if we have a two-person load, I can go there and get extra friction because it's got the built-in horn as well. I don't know how much friction will, yeah, it's too much for this. Okay. Now the thing to remember with this device is if there's an event, so if there's a fall for some reason, and I don't let go of this handle, and I let go of this rope, our patient and our rescuer is gonna free fall. So that's something definitely to consider when you're using it. All right, so now we're gonna put the haul system on the Maestro. For this one, I'm just gonna use the basic. Again, just something else that we have here at the shop at Pegasus. And it's another device that, again, rope access uses quite a bit. So just to demonstrate another option. Okay. Make sure it's orientated the right way. That's simple. So again, one advantage of whether the basic or the rescue center or an ascension handle, with a Pressic, sometimes, you know, we've all done it, you put it up there and then you go to set it, and then the Pressic starts creeping back down the rope. With these devices, if they're rigged correctly, it'll grab almost every time. I don't think I've had one slip. All right, so now we've got our rescue dummy up, we're gonna lower him down the Maestro. One thing I'll mention first and foremost, typically running this device I would be on the other side, but so you guys can see it easier, I'm gonna run it from this side. So, V-groove there, that creates all the friction for our device. So we wanna make sure the rope captures that. And to lower, it's very simple. We just open the handle and we can control it, okay? One thing I noticed right away, there's a lot of force on that handle. It's not like the MPD. The MPD, the handle feels almost nothing. This one, you actually have to work to get it to open. Now, one nice advantage that this one has as well as the MPD is it has the second friction horn here. So when we rig this horn, we want to make sure we capture that V-groove and we come back up and over it, like that. So again, 2-person load, it's very easy to switch. Now we don't have enough weight on there. You can kind of get an idea of how it would operate, okay? Another advantage this has is as soon as I let go of the handle, it snaps shut, okay? So that's the same as all the new IDs and the rigs, as well as the Sparrow like we discussed. The MPD also has that, the little orange handle. If you let go of that, it will close itself and it'll stop the device from moving rope. All right, so go back here and let's get our load to the ground. All right, so what we're gonna show you here very quickly is one advantage the Maestro has over the MPD. If we're running a twin tension system and we're using the Maestros, we can actually have one tech operate both Maestros by using it in the shark fin method, okay? So we're not actively gonna run it through right now. We're gonna put out a video later for you that we show the different devices that you're able to do this with. But we just wanted to show you very quickly how easy it is to set it up. So I can actually run both lines and operate both devices just by myself, which is kind of nice, especially if you're let's say a SAR tech or something like that, where sometimes personnel is limited. This is definitely an advantage that the Maestro has over the MPD. All right, so now we've put our hull system over onto the blue rope, which is rigged through the Maestro, and we're gonna haul up our dummy and see what sort of friction we're seeing with one person pulling on a 3-to-1 system. Good.
All right, so what we're gonna do for the 2-person rescue is I've got Trevor and our rescue dummy hanging up on the lines here. We're just gonna use the Maestro and an ASAP as our belay line. And we're gonna just see how well the Maestro handles the 2-person load when you're lowering, okay? Ready to lower? So one thing I found, and this is just personal preference, when you're lowering a heavy load like 2 people or even just 1 person, when using the MPD, you gotta pull up and twist on the handle. And it's not very ergonomically pleasurable, I guess. I don't know the wording. But I find when you're using the new Maestro is you can actually, the way the rope weaves through the device here, and you get your handle up and loaded, and basically you can stand in this direction watching your load and just use your body momentum to start to lower your load. And it's a nice easy control of your rescuers or your patient. And if you need to step back or let go, and it automatically locks. It's just a personal thing, but I just find even when you got 2 of the devices here together and you're shark finning, you can control both of them by just you're shifting your body weight. Well, there you go, guys. That's our testing on the Maestro. We did put it up against the MPD because that's its biggest competitor. That's what it's out to compete with. The MPD has been in the industry for over 10 years now. It's a fantastic device. We're not here to knock it or put it down in any way. We're just showing you that there is new stuff out there to give it a little competition and see how they stack up. So first thing for basic rope maneuvers, we're going to discuss how easy it is to actually thread the rope through the devices, because the MPD is notoriously a pain in the butt. You see, it's just got a swing pivot gate, so you can't actually see the device inside, where that's nice and wide open. Okay, nice and easy to thread. All right, so for basic rope maneuvers for rigging it in and stuff like that, what do you give the Maestro compared to the MPD?
Compared to the MPD, it's a very user-friendly device when we're talking about specifically rigging it in. One disadvantage that both devices have is that you have to remove it from the system. Using it fire service minded for rescue, not a big deal because we're on solid ground typically. We have our tarp or whatever down. As far as what I would rate it, I think it was good. I don't think it's awesome. There was a couple drawbacks. One thing we haven't discussed is the physical handle, where it kind of, when the handle's closed, it kind of goes into the carabiner a little bit. I don't really like that. Yeah, if you can. So when it snaps shut, it usually hits the carabiner, and there's been the odd time where it's been unweighted that handle physically gets inside the carabiner. So I don't know if that'll prove to be a problem, but.
Yeah, so maneuvers, you want to give it a 4?
Yeah, I would say a 4, yeah.
Okay, I do like the point there that he's talking about. If they just made the handle slightly offset a little bit, and with the little catch so that you could open it with your rope and stuff in the system, so you can, never drop it at heights. The Petzl IDs and rigs and all that, and the new IDs for 12.5 mil rope rescue have that catch. I think it would have been a great idea to add it into the Maestro.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to give it a 4.
Sure.
Hauling and lowering. Now, we've done a lot of tests over the last couple weeks with the clutch, the MPD, the Maestro, the ID, the rig, the Sparrow. When you're hauling a load in a 3-to-1 scenario, there is not a hell of a lot of noticeable difference in trying to overcome the load through the device. The biggest one was the rig. Okay, obviously it's got a smaller square cam, and it's going to have the most friction. But these new devices are designed with the most effortless pulley inside it to overcome a lot of that friction. And to be quite honest, I didn't see a huge difference between these two or the ID and the EVAC and the Sparrow even. They were all very similar. So even though it's got a very efficient pulley, I didn't see a huge advantage over the MPD compared to the Maestro or the others. Did you?
No, not for hauling. One thing we should mention too, our haul systems that we did, we built basically a 3-to-1 haul system as if we were responding to an actual event. A lot of people, or some people now, we're starting to see testing on this device for efficiency where they're using, they're hauling with some sort of a winch system where there's a consistent, constant pull. We didn't achieve that, although we were very close, but I mean, I was surprised to see how the numbers lined up with how we did it, and that, yeah, there wasn't really much difference on any of them.
Yeah, like we were getting like low 60s, even up to 70s, just to overcome the load, even on these two devices. So again, there's no significant advantage over these two, over the ID that we found. So for hauling and lowering, I'm going to give it a 3. It's good, or do you want to go 4?
Yeah, let's go 4. I mean,
4?
It works. It's no different.
Well,
really
let's go 4 because
four.
Compared to the ID and stuff, it is a little bit more efficient.
I would agree,
but
yeah.
Yeah, let's give it a 4.
Sure. One thing I do like that the Maestro has that we also saw in the clutch is when we're hauling, you'll hear the clicking, and I like that. It's an audible clue. So remember we discussed about leaving the parking brake on with this. So if you're not paying attention, you're hauling, you don't know if this is actually progress capturing or if your brake's on and you're just creating slack. There's no doubt with this device and the clutch. Like you
100%.
hear that clicking and I can be facing my load and I know 100% that that's still doing its job.
100%. I really do like that clicking noise, which the clutch also has.
Yes.
It's a great feature, I think, over the MPD. It just lets you know that you're in actual haul lower mode. Okay?
Yeah, you know it's doing its job and you don't have to look at it. Like it just makes it a little bit easier.
So for 2-person rescue load, I'm going to also give this a 4 because I did find, even though the handle is a little hard to overcome the load, once you get your body positioned and get just a steady grip on there and just use your weight shift to pull that load, with your rope going over the spur, I found I had a lot of control. Even with 2 people on there, it was nice and smooth. And I had no problems lowering 2 people on the one device by myself. Okay, and I find just with the MPD, with the pull handle and twist, I just find that whole motion just a pain in the butt, and it's hard to get a good control on it. Mm-hmm. This gives you a really good control. That's why I want to give it a 4.
Okay. I was on the dummy end with the dummy, so.
So you were
Which one is a dummy?
with the dummy, playing a dummy, dressed up like another dummy.
Yeah.
So the overall functionability, with takeoff heights, because it's not exactly a device you take up, ascending, descending the ropes, but you are using it at height. So we have to kind of know that this is going to be on a nice controlled area where you're going to be hauling, lowering, raising your loads, and not so much ascending, descending, switching ropes, going through knots and stuff with this device. It's not what it was designed for. So the overall functionality will focus on how easy it is to thread and how easy it is to operate compared to the MPD. So what do you want to do there?
You know what? I would say 4. It's a great device. It definitely, other devices, like when we compared the clutch to the ID, there was definite issues between the 2 of them. But there wasn't really any issues here. They're very on par, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the operation of it is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Some of the little features like the handle, maybe a quick release, there could be room for improvement. Mm-hmm. So overall functionality, I think we'll give it a 4.
Yeah. It worked, actually it was surprising. It worked better than I thought that it would. I thought that there would be more issues with it, but based on my limited time with it, but it worked well today.
All right. So down to our price and availability. Let's do the Maestro. And MPD. So US, okay, the Maestro, $505 US. The MPD, $799. So it's $300 US more for the MPD. Canadian, this is Canadian, the MPD in Canadian, $1,100. I think the MPD's days are numbered. All right, so getting it into the country, the price and availability. The MPD is a very popular device. It's been out for quite a while now. So it has to come from CMC Rescue down in California. So it'll be about 7 to 10 days. And Petzl is down in Utah. So again, it'll be about 7 to 10 days. I don't know many people that will stock either one of them. They are very expensive devices to keep in their inventory. So if you're ordering one, I would give yourself about 7 to 10 days. They are, you know, they're not usually on back order because they're a pretty common device. So the price and availability for both, 7 to 10 days. All right. So there you go. That's our little breakdown. I think the new Maestro, from Petzl, is going to be a fantastic device for the fire service. It's a lot more economical option than the MPD. It's far easier to use. The pulley system, everything in it is fantastic. When you're getting into new twin tension rope systems now, instead of having a main and a belay line, you can have 2 main lines, which you can share the load. Shark finning with pulling the handles for both devices. You can do that with the Maestro. You can't with the MPD. You would need 2 people. So that's our breakdown on the device. The Maestro, fantastic device. The MPD, it's fantastic, but I think it's getting outdated now and newer stuff is coming. And we'll see how it goes. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I hope you liked the videos. That's our showdown for all the not descent devices, but like descent control and
rope rescue,
lowering devices. Yeah. So you can see we put the Sparrow, the ID with the evac, the rig, the clutch, the Maestro, and the MPD. Now you notice a lot of these devices are all from Petzl, so they're definitely got they're very engaged
yeah.
in the rescue field. So they definitely know what they're doing in that respect. So if you had to choose between the MPD and the Maestro, which one would you choose?
It's a tough choice. The MPD has been industry standard for so long. I use it a lot. But I think the Maestro, as far as I do a lot of instructing, and the Maestro just seems, if you're teaching new users, it's a lot easier to start with. So definitely would like more time with it. So I would, it's tough. I would probably go Maestro.
Me too. I like the way that it's nice and easy to thread, especially when you're teaching new firefighters. Mm-hmm. When it sits on the truck for 6 months before they get to actually use it at an actual rescue, then they're sitting there messing around trying to get it threaded properly, where this is just so straightforward and simple. You can't do it. I mean, you can put it in backwards, but it'd be tough. Yeah, it'd be tough to screw that up. So definitely the Maestro over the MPD. Now for our rope access or for rope rescue devices,
if you asked me this question when we started this, I would say the clutch, because it was new, it's cool, it's got an awesome clicking sound. I'm gonna, after the test, I think I'm probably gonna stay with the ID, to be honest with you.
100%. Yeah. I agree. Though it's a cool toy, a lot of people love it. The new clutch, it is fantastic. The like the pulley inside and everything is fantastic. But the Petzl ID is the industry standard for a reason. That thing is, I didn't see any advantage over the clutch over the ID.
No.
I saw disadvantages with the, being able to get your gloves caught in there and stuff like that. I really am comfortable with the ID. Been using it for years, so I may be a little biased, but I'm definitely leaning towards the ID over the clutch, to be perfectly honest. Especially the price point. This clutch is so expensive, you could buy 2 IDs for the price of that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So
I would like to get more time with the clutch in the position where we use the Maestro and the MPD. So I want to put that on a plate, and I want to run that a little more in depth, and hopefully over the summer and courses we'll get to do that.
Yeah.
To see how it stacks up, but based on my experiences now, yeah, I'm definitely staying with the ID.
There you have it. Yeah. Petzl, ding, 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 winner. So hope you like the videos, guys. And if you, by all means, leave some comments. If you have any other things that you'd like to see us testing and trying out, we'd be happy to try to oblige to all those. Mm-hmm. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you liked it. and subscribe to the channel. It helps us to grow the channel and let you guys learn some new things and play with some new toys and see where we go from there. Okay, special thanks to Trevor here, Trevor Foos.
Still hasn't got it.
And for his time helping us out with doing all this testing. So, see you guys in the next one. I think they're still there.
Are they still there? Go away.
Are you guys still there?
Go away now.
Okay. Yeah, they're still there.